About 22 minutes now before the hour. I want to bring back Howie Kurtz, our media analyst from Washington, D.C. And Howie, welcome back here. We brought you on today to talk about this documentary that's hosted by Katie Couric. It's called Under the Gun, examines gun policy in America today. I'm going to play our audience two clips, one at a time, then we'll get reaction from the show's producer. The first clip is about a question that she asked, and then there's a rather long pause that follows. Listen to that first, and then we'll frame it in context.
If there are no background checks for gun purchasers, how do you prevent felons or terrorists from purchasing a gun?
So you notice there were long pause. I believe the way it plays out, it was 9 seconds in length. This is, however, Howie, how it actually went with the question and answer.
How do you prevent felons or terrorists from walking into, say, a licensed gun dealer and purchasing a gun?
Well, one, if you're not in jail, you should still have your basic rights, and you should still have a gun.
So if you're a terrorist or a felon?
If you're a felon and you've done your time, you should have your rights.
Well, the fact is we do have statutes, both at the federal and state level, that prohibit classes of people from being in possession of firearms.
Well, you said it was stunning silence, and the problem is the silence wasn't real. It was edited. The producer said this about that: my intention was to provide a pause for the viewer to have a moment to consider this important question before presenting the facts on Americans' opinions on background checks. I never intended to make anyone look bad, and I apologize if anyone felt that way, end quote. In your experience, is that how it's done, Howie?
That is absolutely not how it is done. That kind of distorted editing would be against the rules in any network news division. That non-apology doesn't nearly go far enough, because what you just saw, what the audience just saw, is that it looked like Katie Couric's question left the members of this gun rights group not just stunned, but kind of deer in the headlights, didn't know what to say. And in reality, as we heard from the audio, they had plenty to say, but that was edited out. And Katie Couric has issued her own statement saying she is proud of the film, but that moment is backfiring big time and starting to cause a backlash.
Have you spoken to her? You've had contact with her?
I've had contact with her people, and I've asked to speak to her, but so far we just have the statement from her standing by her director. And I understand that she tried to, include the views of those who might have a different view of gun control background checks efforts. I did speak, however, Bill, with the president of the Virginia Citizens Defense League, whose members you saw in that clip, and he was there at the taping. And he told me this whole thing is a nightmare in his view. He said it was a total deception, that when he saw what Katie Couric did, he was in disbelief.
No, you called it a distortion. It is, Howie.
There is no other word to describe it. And when I first saw this, I felt pretty confident that when this came to the attention of the producers and to Katie Couric, that they would say, yes, this was a mistake, we are sorry, we regret this, and we're going to change it or fix it somehow. And instead, I'm sorry if anybody was offended or it was made to look bad. They're kind of digging in. And this is not a close call. This is not a question of, well, how much time did their views get? The rest of the documentary might be fine. But when you do this, you are blowing a hole in the credibility of your work. And I just don't think it can be defended.
Damaging the product, too. We'll see if an apology comes or not. Howie, thanks. Howard Kurtz there in Washington. Thank you, sir. Martha.